Impromptu live. That's right. We are live. We are live. It's been a long time since we've been live. Later on in this broadcast, I will get on the cam, but not right this second. But anyways, I digress. I am going to start off by saying this. Terence Crawford fans, Bud Crawford fans, Terence fans, Crawford fans, Bud Crawford fans, however you want to call them, his fans are delusional. They just saw Bud struggle with a man with only 11 fights. Regardless of his amateur pedigree on the top level, the elite level, Israel is very inexperienced. Israel is really truthfully only got one good win to his name. His belt was a vacated title. So he didn't even really be the champion to get the title. Now, no, Virgil going to get his ass. Well, Virgil may win this fight against Bokacek, but he's a knockout waiting to happen. That's if he wins. But I digress. Back to the point. Crawford fans are delusional. You just saw him. You saw him with your own two eyes struggle at 154. Yes, he struggled. Did he get knocked down? No. Did he get severely hurt? No. But he was fighting a guy with 11 fights who hasn't even truly proven himself at 154. And this is what people don't understand. Weight matters. If I could get a guy on here named Get the Smoke to finally, after all these years, to admit that weight matters, because he had Crawford beating Canelo previous to this weekend. Now he's going to change the tune, and he realizes weight matters. That is why there is only one Manny Pacquiao. There is only one Thomas Hearns. There's only one Floyd Mayweather Jr., Roy Jones Jr., James Toney. There's very few guys, and I could keep going forever, that can go multiple weight classes. For a guy who they call the Matrix, Lomachenko, you seen him, the rubber met the road for him at 135. He no longer looked the same. The guys were getting way bigger, and this elusive Matrix that it used to be, making people quit on their stool, it stopped. Just like you just saw, Terence Crawford is now entered his fourth weight class, and he is struggling against a guy with no professional experience. 11 fights. Never was actually somebody who beat a world champion. Yes, he had a very good win. Yes, he beat a defeated fighter to get the vacated title. However, Israel is still inexperienced on the professional level. And with a guy who allegedly has the skills of Terence Crawford, it should not have been that hard of a fight. And the fact that after the fight, Terence Crawford said, this guy's really strong. Paul, stop right there. There's no fucking way you're going to say that Israel is strong and not think that Canelo's going to run through this dude. Every bit of strength that Israel has, don't even compare to Canelo. Don't even compare. Like, they're incomparable. And when I look at it, Canelo started at 140 pounds, okay? He went up 6 weight classes. That's right, 6. He's a 4-division champion, but if you go from his beginning weight class, it was 140. I don't care if he was 16 or not. Here's the deal. Canelo went up 6 weight classes. He has been dominant in his 5th weight class at 168. Even though I believe he's evading David Benavidez like the plague, he's scared to fight him. I believe Benavidez was the best at 168 until he moved up. It's irrelevant. Canelo went to 168 and dominated everybody he fought. He had a hard fight with John Ryder, but, you know, it is what it is. John Ryder's giving everybody a hard fight. And really, truthfully, Callum should have lost to him. So there's that. So again, when you look at Canelo in his 5th weight class, not 4th weight class, he's way more dominant. He cleared house. I am right now telling y'all, I am not convinced that Terence can go undefeated at 154. I'm not convinced that he doesn't get stopped against a Tim Tszyu. I truly believe Tim Tszyu would walk through him because Israel was walking through a lot of his shots. And Israel is much smaller than Tim Tszyu. So again, I'm not convinced that Terence Crawford can even campaign at 154 and be successful and stay undefeated. Let alone him get in there with a Fundora who's going to be sticking him all night, meeting him in the pocket. So again, I think the rubber has met the road. Terence Crawford is a very good fighter. He's always been my number one pound for pound. Despite him being undefeated, I have seen Canelo go up to 175, his sixth weight class, become a 4-division champion, and be successful the first time he went there. Yes, I believe that Kovalev was on his last leg. Yes, I believe it was a gimme fight. However, he was successful in his sixth weight class. And if we go one above Terence's fifth weight class at 168, the dude has been dominant. Terence was not dominant against the least experienced guy there at the top. Here, let me drop a link real fast. Anybody want to jump on? I'm just telling y'all, his power that he had at 147 did not look to be there. His punches did not have the same effect. Israel was eating all of his shots up to like maybe the 11th round. And I would argue that that was more endurance fatigue versus power. Because when they were both fresh, them punches weren't stopping Israel. They weren't hurting him. And he caught Israel clean. And if you can't hurt Israel, there's no way you're going to hurt Canelo. And I said this before. In my opinion, the Canelo fight will look no different than what y'all saw with Bakoli versus Anderson. It's going to look the exact same. Anderson looked way more skilled. He was landing way more shots, but they were little pebbles just bouncing off a fucking brick wall, and it had no effect. And the minute Bakoli landed on Anderson, he went down. And then he continued to get beat down. And that's what will happen to Crawford. I have seen his limits. And because I've seen his limits come in the fourth weight class, and against a guy, let alone, let's not even talk about the fact that they were the same size. They were the same size. It's not like Crawford got in there with a dude way bigger than him. In fact, Crawford, looking at him when they did the face-off, might have actually been taller than Israel by like a half an inch. And his arms sure as hell are a lot longer. So again, you have Crawford, while he may have started at a lower weight class, looked to be just as big. And at 147, he looked to be bigger than everybody he fought. Just like if you go to 140 or 135, he looked to be bigger than all the guys he fought by the time he rehydrated. This is the first time we saw Crawford in there with a guy of his same size. And he looked bad. He won. I thought it was a draw. I'm not mad with him winning. But you should not be struggling with a guy who's only had 11 fights on the professional stage. You shouldn't be. Because Israel, who mentioned before, had as many amateur fights as Lomachenko. He's no Lomachenko. He's nowhere near as skilled as Lomachenko. It's not even close, the skill set. Nowhere close to a Loma. He's not a once-in-a-generational talent. Israel will not be a several multi-divisional champion. If he wins another title, it'll be a 160 and it'll stop there. He'll never go to 168 and win a title. He'll never go to 175 and win a title. And more than likely, he'll never leave 154 until he's old. And then he'll be a gatekeeper at 160. Israel's not that talented. He's good, but he's not a once-in-a-generational talent. And again, I have to judge apples to apples. Has Canelo been fighting the best opposition lately? No. Has Canelo been dodging people like Benavidez, Andrade? Yes. But I have to be honest with myself. Looking at how dominant Canelo was against the other 168 champions and how bad Crawford struggled against a guy with 11 fights, I no longer have him over Canelo. In fact, I will go with the audacious claim. And people say I'm a Canelo hater. So you know this means a lot when people tell me all the time I'm a Canelo hater, and I'm saying this. They tell me all the fucking time. I just hate on Canelo. I never give him his just due. I never give him his props, never give him his flowers. And I'm telling y'all, judging off of what I saw, I think Canelo's way more skilled. I think he's a better fighter. I think Canelo is a better fighter. Does he switch stances? No. But Canelo's pressure and counterpunching and the size and height difference between Canelo and his opposition leads me to believe that he's just a better fighter. And when you take a good little man and put him in there against a way better, bigger man, the way better, bigger man is going to beat him. And I have had Crawford my number one pound for pound for years. And this ain't got shit to do with age because Crawford didn't look old. So all them people talking about, oh, it's the age with the weight. No, the fuck it isn't. Crawford looked fat. He looked slick. He looked like he had everything that he had at 147. The only difference was, at this weight class, he's small. He's not the bigger man. He's average at best. And y'all saw it. And people are still believing that Canelo will lose to him. Now, do I agree with Canelo asking for $150 million to fight Crawford? No, I think that's ridiculous. It's asinine. Turkey Al-Shea is not going to get that much money. Do I think that's Canelo blatantly ducking Crawford? No, but Turkey did send shots at him and put out a tweet about how he believed he was ducking Crawford. But the thing is this. I feel like Canelo is just trying to maximize his dollar. And if he is going to fight Crawford, he's going to want as much as possible. Because it does nothing for Canelo's legacy, especially if he beats Crawford as bad as I think he is. I really believe that it's going to be more like the Kell Brook fight. It really is. Like when Kell Brook fought Triple G, you saw Kell Brook being very agile. Or we could even use Amir Khan and do apples to apples when Amir Khan fought Canelo and was outboxing him early until he got his fucking face broke. You got to understand there is a power disparity here. There is a size disparity here. Canelo has gone against very hard punches that hit a lot harder than Terence Crawford and walked through them. And they have, if not the same reach as Crawford, because he's got very long arms for his height, a longer reach with a longer torso, which even extends the reach even more because you can lean back and throw a shot to maximize your reach when you also have a height advantage. But Canelo has walked through all of them. And I'm here to believe that Canelo is going to struggle against a guy who struggled with a guy who only had 11 fights. And I'm not even using a triangle theory. I'm using a size theory. I'm using a strength theory. I'm using what my eyes show me theory. When's the last time we've seen Terence Crawford mark the fuck up? Never. But you've seen his eyes swollen shut. He had a huge mouse on his right eye from a guy who doesn't even hit that hard. Not in comparison to Canelo. And then when you look at it, you have to ask yourself, how many guys has Canelo beat that fight like Israel, who will throw a bunch of feints and try to confuse you? How many big names did Canelo beat at 155? I say 155 because he made his own weight class. But how many big names did he beat there? Is Israel better than Lara? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think Lara is a way better boxer. As far as agility, slickness, mobility, jabbing, I think he's way better. And that's what I'm looking at. I have seen Canelo walk through guys when he was smaller that are just like Israel, who fight just like Israel. But Crawford struggled because it was a down-to-the-wire fight. You don't have to get knocked down. You don't have to get beat up for it to be a fucking struggle. The fight was razor thin, so thin that you got people saying Israel won. I disagree with that. I don't take that sentiment. I think he lost or it was a draw. But again, you cannot struggle like that and be considered a top-tier opponent to fight Canelo. It's going to be no different than Charlo, but worse. Either Bud's going to run the entire time because he's going to get whopped and feel what a real punch feels like at that weight class and not want to get knocked out, or he's going to fight Canelo and get put out. And like I was saying with Amir Khan, it could be just like that. Crawford could outbox him, but how long can he outbox him for? And how long will his frame hold up at 168? Because you got to understand, when Crawford comes in at 168, if he even makes 168 on the scale, that's going to be his rehydrated weight. That's going to be his maximum weight. That's going to be his top, out of shape, in shape body. Canelo is going to be every bit of 190 when he gets into that ring. He's going to be the size of a cruiserweight in weight. And he's not going to get tired against a little guy like Bud, because Bud's not going to be able to push him backwards. Bud is always going to be on the back foot. Bud is going to have to stick and move and never trade in the pocket. And the problem with a guy like Canelo is, and I believe he learned this against Mayweather, Canelo, when he attacks you, he doesn't attack you to score. He attacks you to land. And what I mean by that is, bring it back up Callum Smith Look at his bicep. Look at Demetrius Beeble's delts, biceps, forearms. Canelo will hit you just to hit you, and it doesn't matter where he hits you. He's just going to hit you. He's going there to beat you down. He's going there to wear you down. He's going there to put you in the meat grinder and make you hesitant to throw because he's hitting you with counters. He is nonstop pressure. And again, if a guy like Israel can keep you on your back foot the entire fight, you can't beat Canelo. It's just, that's the reality. And I understand that people don't agree with it. By the way, hit the thumbs up. We had a good bit of people. They all left. Like I said, this is impromptu. We're doing this, no tags, no nothing. And I'll jump on the cam in a minute. But I was hoping Charles D would get on. But I don't see how Crawford beats Canelo. And if you want to argue Canelo's not a pound-for-pound number one, then it would have to be Inouye. Because Inouye is dominant at every weight class he's been to. So I could see Inouye over Canelo and Canelo number two. But Terence, even though he won and stepped up off that performance, and knowing that Canelo's gone up 6 weight classes from where he began, yeah, I can't rate him over Canelo no more. I can't. Because you really find out how good a fighter is when they're severely undersized and they can still manage to win, when they have all disadvantages in the ring. The thing with Crawford is he's never had all the disadvantages in the ring, ever. Never. Not once. And Canelo has had disadvantages. While I say Canelo is a big dude, and I truly don't believe Canelo's ever been undersized against the guys he's fought, he's definitely had the height disadvantage and the reach disadvantage against damn near everybody he's fought. And again, Crawford, with all the advantages, has looked great. But the first time you remove those advantages and you made them even with a guy who had 11 fights, that once in a generational talent that he is, looked to fade very quickly. It didn't look impressive. The knockout didn't even look close to coming. Him rocking. What just happened? There we go. My whole shit just froze up. The Crawford fans are DOS attacking me right now. They don't like it. But again, like, and people call me a Canelo hater. That's what's so crazy about this. Like, I have literally several times been labeled as a Canelo hater. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read the chat. I'm going to drop the link one more time. If you're just joining me, you want to debate this, you're a Terence Crawford fan, hop on and tell me why I'm wrong. But I would say that people believing that Crawford can beat Canelo don't believe their own eyes anymore. You just don't believe your own eyes. You don't believe your own mind. You're thinking with your heart when you need to be thinking with your fucking eyes and your brain. Like, your mind is telling you this is not competitive, but your heart is leading you down the wrong direction. All right, so let's go through here. What's going on, Iceman? How you doing? We already covered this. I don't think Virgil is good at all. Do you rate Masvidal high at 154? I don't know. I would have to see him fight like a Tim Tszyu. I would have to see him fight. Even like I would have to see him fight like a Virgil Ortiz because he's way more experienced than him. I would have to really see him against upper echelon fighters. Even like if Charlo comes back, to really get a gauge of how good or bad he is at the upper echelon. Even a Lubin. I would even give Masvidal credit if he could beat a Lubin. But I don't know if Israel could even beat a Lubin. I don't even know if Crawford could beat a Lubin, to be honest with you. Let me see. Israel has the same amount of fights. Yeah, I already covered that, Charles. That don't matter. Tony, why does Bud still have 2 belts at 147? Because, you know, they like to leave the door open. He went up there, got his feet wet at 154. You know, the fighter may come back down because he looked average. You know what I'm saying? Like, he looked average. He did not look that spectacular. Charles said he'll beat Fundora. He gives up his height and likes to fight in close. I would agree with you, Charles D. if that was true, but it's not true. You saw him fight Tim Tszyu from range. So that Fundora that loves to be in the phone booth changed up his style in his last fight. And right now, the PBC is trying to shelf him as long as possible to make Earl Spence Jr. have an opportunity to win. They're trying to ring rust him like Earl Spence has been ring rust to give him all the opportunities in the world to beat him. But again, Fundora against Tim Tszyu used his height for the first time. They called his gloves before the fight started. What do you mean? What about Terence Crawford's gloves? I don't know what you're talking about they called his gloves. I don't think Crawford did enough to take the belt. Like I said, I'm not mad at Crawford winning. I had it a draw, but if I had to give it to somebody, I would give it to Crawford. I hate Canelo too, but I agree with you. We rarely agree. I am a Crawford fan, but I don't think he beats Canelo. I'll go a step further. I know he doesn't beat Canelo. Like, I know it. There's no way. It's just not possible. It is not possible. He's too small. He's not strong enough. All them 405 rack pulls that he does aren't going to save him. Or 455 rack pool, whatever it was. Rack pulls are easy to do. It ain't going to save him against a Canelo. Like, you're not deadlifting. You're not rack pulling. Canelo is going to grown man you. He's going to sun you, as we used to say back in the 90s in New York. You're going to get sunned. He'll sit him on his pockets. He's going to get yoked. And I like Crawford. That's what's so bad about it. But I always said Crawford stands no chance. He's just too small. And I was called the sizes. You're a sizes. You just believe small guys can't beat big guys. Well, that's true if the size difference is very great. And again, we saw enough to know that the size difference is going to be huge. Like, I'm telling you, Canelo was going to look like a grown man against a child in the ring next to Crawford. Hold on 1 second, guys. I'll be right back in 2 seconds. Again, the link is in the chat. If anybody wants to argue with me, hit the thumbs up. If you haven't, let's get the algorithm up. I'm not going to be live much longer. This was supposed to be a very short live. And I was hoping somebody was going to argue with me, but I guess not. I'll be right back. All right. Now that we have lost everybody, I am back. All right. So now that I have ran through Crawford versus Canelo, let me ask the chat this. Who should Crawford fight next? You know, I feel like the PBC purposely set up Tim Tszyu to lose the belt. And it's crazy to me how he didn't get a rematch like most champions do, especially when you take into the account that he had a cut over his eye. Now, I believe Fundora would have won that fight no matter what, ultimately, but there is an argument to be made that Tim Tszyu lost because he couldn't see because of the blood over his eye. Even though that's not my argument, and I picked Fundora to win no matter what, and he did, you could make the argument that Tim Tszyu, the cut, caused him issues. If Tim Tszyu would have been smart, he should have stopped the fight in the second or third round when he was ahead and got the fucking win. That's all I'm saying. Like, he would have literally won the fight. It would have went to the scorecards, which is a learning lesson to all the young fighters out there. If you're undefeated and somebody headbutts you or elbows you or forearms you and splits your eye open and you're ahead before it has to go the duration of the fight, get the scorecards read. Tell the doctor, I cannot see, and take your fucking win so you don't lose off of being blinded. That was the dumbest tactical decision I've ever seen. I don't know what he was thinking, and I don't know what his corner was thinking. But had I been there, I'd have been like, bro, you can't see, stop the fight. We've already won on the scorecards. But the question is, again, who should Crawford fight next? I want to see the Tim Tszyu fight, as I just mentioned. I think Tim Tszyu versus Crawford would be very good. It would give Tim Tszyu another shot at a title because I feel like he should have got a shot back. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to set up Crawford versus Spence again in 154. The problem is two things. One, we don't know if Spence is ever going to fight again. Two, we don't even know if Spence can beat Fundora. So that right there has a champion tied up, waiting for Spence to get healthy to where Spence can fight again. And again, like, how long is boxing supposed to be put on hold for Earl Spence Jr.? Because at 147, well, I don't know if you could truly solely blame him versus Bud. But again, it was kind of, that's iffy. But regardless of that fact, you have Spence, who tied up the 147 division involved with Crawford. And now it's tied up again because we don't know when he's going to fight Fundora, if he's going to fight Fundora. And Tim Tszyu is looking for a fight right now. Crawford just had a fight. If you really want to solidify yourself as a contender at 154, then go fight Tim Tszyu, a guy who actually won a title, a guy who's actually beat top 10 competitors at 154. That's what I would say. But I know they're trying to set up the Virgil Ortiz fight if he can win, if he could beat Bokachuk. But I don't know. Like, I don't know if he beats Bokachuk. But even if he does beat Bokachuk, I don't really rate Bokachuk that high. So I don't know. Like, I really don't know. I really don't know. I think, in my opinion, the best fight for Crawford is Tim Tszyu, but it's a fight that they're not going to set up because that's a fight he will highly likely lose. And they don't want him to lose. They'd rather put him in there with a guy who's overhyped, who's not that good, and a Virgil Ortiz. And then they're going to give him all the credit in the world for beating Virgil Ortiz, who's really just a welterweight who moved up. So, again, I don't think Virgil's that talented. I think he's very flat-footed. I've seen him get rocked against lesser punchers. And I think eventually, when Virgil gets in there against a real puncher with real skills, he's going to get dropped. He's going to get exposed like Matias. He's going to get exposed like Morrell just did. The thing is, people fall in love with knockout artists, even when they don't fight nobody, even when they haven't knocked out nobody of any status. People see knockouts and they're like, oh, he's very good. Case in point, Deontay Wilder. Knockouts mean nothing when it's against low opposition. Let me see. Canelo versus Benavidez and Crawford versus Tim Tszyu. I mean, that would be good, but Canelo's never going to fight Benavidez because Benavidez would more than likely beat him. And Canelo knows it. Because the thing about Benavidez is this. While early, I think Canelo has the advantage. I think Canelo's age, and now that he's no longer allowed to eat steaks, he tires down the stretch. And when he gets a guy who's going to be around 200 pounds in front of him, who's going to be bigger than him and outweigh him, he's going to get worn out if he can't stop him. And the thing about Canelo is, it's been a while since he stopped somebody. So I don't know what he does against Benavidez. I really see that it's one of them fights where Benavidez can weather the storm and stop Canelo late because of exhaustion, attrition. No Mexican beef juice. Exactly. Canelo's endurance has never looked the same since. I mean, how many years has it been since Canelo stopped somebody? The last person I can remember that he stopped was Caleb Plant. Now, somebody could correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, but I think Caleb Plant is the last guy he knocked out. And when was that? Like 2020, 2021, somewhere back there? My bad, guys. I was looking at something. So let's go through the division rankings and let's see at 154 who Terence should fight. Let's see. Somehow they have Terence Crawford ranked number 1. Don't know how. But they got him ranked currently at number 1 at 154. I disagree with that. But we have number 2 is Fundora. We have Israel, who's still ranked number 3, which makes no damn sense. Tim Tszyu, number 4, which makes no damn sense. Virgil Ortiz, number 5, which makes no damn sense. Lubin at number 6. I could see Lubin in the top 10. Volkacek, who Virgil Ortiz is fighting at number 7. I don't know. I don't know if I would put Volkacek. I don't know. I don't know if I'd put him. The only person I can really think of that he beat was Mendoza. But outside of Mendoza, did he beat anybody? I know he's been knocked out before. That's why they put him in there with Virgil Ortiz, because they believe the chin is sus. But outside of Mendoza, has he actually beat a top fighter? I mean, I guess Mendoza's a good win because Mendoza beat Fundora, but at the same time, he was coming off of a loss against Tim Tszyu. So again, I'm going to drop the link one more time. if nobody hops on the panel, I think I've beat Terence Crawford discussion into the ground. I think we've covered all angles. 35 minutes in, I don't think there's much more to say about Terence Crawford and Canelo. But yeah, I think it's not even a discussion at this point. It just is not. Canelo walks through him, period. And there's nobody that's going to jump on here and change my mind because obviously they have not done it. So if they were going to jump on, they're missing their opportunity because I can't see it. Now, as far as Canelo goes, if Canelo's not going to fight Benavidez, there's only one fighter I want to see him fight. And I think he gets fucking annihilated. I think Billy will completely destroy Canelo. I think that's another guy that he's going to avoid like Benavidez. Because like Benavidez, Billy is pure aggression, pure pressure, nonstop come at you, nonstop attacks. He's going to barrage him all night long. And the difference with Billy is Billy is slightly taller than Canelo, so they're around the same stature, which means Canelo can't get close to get out of danger, and he can't get far away without being in danger. So at all angles and all distances in the ring, Canelo's in danger against Billy because of the same height, which means that they're both in the same punching distance. And on top of it, Billy would be the first guy Canelo has fought, probably ever, who's going to be more muscular than him, who's going to carry a hell of a lot more muscle mass. Because Billy, in my opinion, is way bigger than Canelo. At least he appears to be. Now, cuts can be deceiving because the more lean you are, the more cut you are, the bigger you appear to be. But off my eye test, not seeing him side by side, seeing Billy in the ring, he looks a lot bigger than Canelo. I would venture to say that Billy looks around 195 by the time he gets in the ring of pure muscle. And that's pure muscle that doesn't get tired. And that's pure muscle that's swinging for the fences with everything he throws. And you got to keep in mind, Billy's got a hell of a coach because the same guy that trained Beterbiev to stop everybody is the same guy that trains Billy. I heard about them trying to make the fight, and I saw no point in it. It's just not a... What do you mean? It's going to end in knockout. One of them two guys is going to knock the other guy out because of how hyper-aggressive Billy is. Like, that would be a war. Like a straight war. I don't think there's a better fight at 168 outside of Benavidez if he came back down. I mean, Canelo, Crawford. No, I disagree. I think Canelo Crawford would sell because they're going to use Crawford being pound for pound, generational great, 4-division champion, 2-division undisputed. They're going to use that. They're going to use that to sell the fuck out of the fight. And the thing about it is you've seen Canelo recently. It really started with Caleb Plant to where Canelo be talking shit. Like, Canelo has started to open up and run his mouth against these fighters. So, you know, if Canelo starts talking, Bud's going to start talking because that's just his mentality. So it's going to sell. Like, just the shit talk alone between the two would sell. I don't think Bud is going to come in humble because Canelo's not going to come in humble. Canelo is going to talk the most. And he's going to feel like Crawford can't do nothing to him. And I would have to agree. He can't do nothing to him. But for me, the best fight for Canelo outside of Benavidez would be Billy. I think Billy is the best person out there. And I just need Billy to win his next fight. And then maybe, just maybe if he beats Dermanchenko, we can get it. Because I think more than likely he's going to stop Dermanchenko. And then whenever he does that, I think people's eyes are going to open. I think they're going to open very wide. Because you got to keep in mind, the last 3 people who have stepped in front of him, Billy, he stopped them. So this isn't a guy who's coming in there to play with you. He's a guy coming in there to take you out very quickly. And the other thing about him, Billy, is he's been all 10 rounds. He's been 8 rounds. He's been in the deep water. He's been 9 rounds. You know what I mean? 8, 9, 10, 7. Like, he's been all these rounds and never looked tired. Derevyanchenko is a good fighter. Charlo really impressed me with how bad he dismantled him. I thought Derevyanchenko beat Triple G, in all honesty. I had him winning that fight. I thought he was robbed. Charlo completely dismantled him. And he put up a very good fight against Munguia. But I'm telling you, you're going to see. When he gets in there with him, Billy, it's going to be a different animal. It's going to be a different beast. I don't think he's ready for this onslaught. And the thing about him, Billy, is he's so strong that a guy like Derevyanchenko, he's kind of slowing down, but he's more of a speed fighter. He's more of a Lomachenko-style fighter. He's more of a get in, punches and bunches, get out before you can throw back type fighter. And I just think he's going to get overwhelmed. I think Billy is going to be on him from the first round to however long it lasts. And that's going to be it. That's the story of the fight. Well, I'm going to give it 5 more minutes for somebody to jump on. I had a scorecard for that Triple G Derevyanchenko fight. I had Triple G winning on points. Yeah, I had the opposite. I had Derevyanchenko beating Triple G. I thought he outboxed him. I thought for the first time Triple G looked old in that fight. And Triple G is old and was old at that time. He's even older now. So, again, I can't see a world where Derevyanchenko can beat Billy. It's going to be a good fight. I can't wait to see it. I believe Billy is going to show why he belongs in there with Canelo. And I think he's going to stop him. But outside of that, before I go, Robert, since you seem to be the main one typing right now, any fights you want to talk about upcoming before I go? Because it doesn't look like anybody's going to hop on the panel. Doesn't look like there's any Terence Crawford fans out there to tell me I'm wrong. So, give me the last fight we're going to close out on, and then we're going to end the stream. Because I said I only wanted this to be, I think T.O. would give Crawford problems. See, I don't know about that. Because here's the thing about T.O. T.O. is going to be smaller than Crawford, and it's just going to be like every fighter that's fought Crawford. You're going to give the size advantage back to Crawford. And that's where he excels. Why always use the word delusional? I mean, this is my first time. And let me throw this back at you. Why not? Why not use the word delusional? Hop on the panel if you want to talk about it. The thing about it is why not you? The reason why it's delusional is because the man has proven to be a great boxer. I don't disagree with that statement. Terence Crawford has been my number 1 pound for pound for years. Even whenever they was trying to say Lomachenko was number 1, I always had Crawford over him. Always. Always. The only time I took Crawford off my number 1 pound for pound was when he was super inactive, waiting for Earl Spence Jr. leaving Top Rank. Once he went back to fighting, I put him back to number 1. So I've never had anybody over Terence Crawford since he's been undisputed at 140. But here's the deal. He looked regular in his 4th weight class at 154. He didn't look great. He looked regular. And the thing about it is you got to understand that it's not a 14-pound weight jump when he goes up to 168. See, this is what people don't understand. It's not that he's going up 14 pounds. It's that he's going to be fighting a guy who's going to be 29, 30 pounds heavier than him. No, I say probably 22 to 25 pounds heavier by fight night. And Crawford is not going to get much bigger than 168, if he even weighs 168. I don't even know that he weighs in at 168. I am not convinced that when Crawford gets on that scale at 168, that he'll weigh 168. The dude might come in on the scale at 164, 165, maybe pushing it 166 at the biggest when he weighs in. And that means he's not going to rehydrate. He's not going to get bigger by fight night. Which means when Canelo comes in around 190, we'll say 190 to make it easy, that is 24 pounds bigger than 166. He's too small. And you just saw it. This is why I say delusional, because you just saw it against Israel. Where do you have the unofficial weigh-in? Where do you have that? Because he did not look bigger than Masvidal in that ring. And I highly doubt Israel was 170 plus. I highly doubt it. They looked around the same size, and Crawford actually looked small. So I'm going to Google that real fast. We're going to fact check this weight. Crawford versus Masvidal. Night of the fight weigh-in. After weighing at 153.4 on Friday night for the official weigh-in, Crawford weighed 169.8. Okay, well, I stand corrected. He didn't look that big. How much did Israel weigh? 168.6. So Crawford was a pound heavier. Crawford was a pound heavier come fight night than Israel, and he struggled against a guy that he outweighed. But look at that. I'm telling you. He weighed 1 pound over 168. 1 pound. Do you realize that Canelo cuts 20, 25 pounds to get to 168? Yeah, I don't think Crawford beats anybody at 160. I think if he got in there with somebody like Beck the Bully, it would be very short. Or not Beck the Bully, that's 168. Somebody like Janabek, my bad. At 160, I think Janabek would completely mollywop him. I don't believe Crawford survives 154. Yeah, he had very little punching power. And this isn't something that, like, you got to understand, at 36 years old, you're not going to acclimate into power. Power is going to be what it is. At 36 years old, your power is not going to get that much better. Even if you get used to the weight, your power is not going to increase. Your power is what your power is. He's not going to grow into the weight class at 36 years old and get better. In fact, he's knocking on the door of Father Time. Most fighters nowadays, they can last a lot longer than they used to. But you tend to see them start to go downhill in between the ages of 35 to 40. Now, it's different for every fighter. But you tend to see nowadays 35 to 40 is like the tail end of their career. It's when they no longer look the same. Their timing is off. The speed is off. Yet Masvidal couldn't walk through his punches, but I do agree he didn't look great. He did walk through his punches. He most definitely was walking through his punches early in that fight. Bud was on the back foot the entire fight until the 11th round. Bud didn't really come into the fight until the 10th round, and the 11th round is whenever he really started pushing forward. Prior to that, he was backing up the entire fight. And Israel was leaping in. Yeah, he was throwing a lot of feints. Yeah, he was being patient. But there was nothing that Bud threw at him that backed him up until he hit them championship rounds that he's not accustomed to. And again, I don't believe that was due to power. I believe that was more due to fatigue. He's not used to. That's why you didn't see him step into a second gear come the 11th and 12th round. Now, I thought he won the 12th round, but it was a very close round. But he still didn't have that extra gear. You didn't see him get that second wind because he's not used to fighting that many rounds because he's very inexperienced in championship fights and at the elite level. And regardless if Crawford was moving up or not, he's still elite. What's going on, Ben Israel? You're more than welcome to hop on the panel. I don't have much longer that I'm going to be on. But I got your boy Crawford. Actually, I don't even think you like Crawford. Canelo stops him. He stops him. Devastating. People gonna cry. Hit the thumbs up before I go on if you haven't done it. Follow the channel or subscribe to the channel. I mean, I'm thinking about a different platform. I've been somewhere else getting my subs up. Not on YouTube. We've been growing somewhere else, starting another project. Because I'm tired of getting false copyright claims by the zone. They do it every time I have to fight it. YouTube is always on some bullshit to where they don't care about content creators. They care about false claims. I had a video of me myself, and the zone did a copyright claim on me. I didn't have none of the video footage, none of their audio, nothing. The video was 100% me, and they put a copyright claim on me. As if I work for them or they own my content. So I don't like the zone. Fuck the zone. I would love to see the zone go out of business, but as long as they doing business with Saudi, they won't. But Matchroom and the zone, I would love to see them fold. This is the last month I have my subscription from them because I'm tired. I'm tired of them doing false copyright claims, and I'll never buy another fucking pay-per-view. I will never support another DAZN pay-per-view because of the false copyright claims. But they've had me, like, you gotta understand, DAZN, I was subscribed to them all the way through COVID when they was having no fights. Well, I shouldn't have said that. My bad. But yeah, all through the sickness, I was subscribed to them the entire time. No fights. I was like, you know what? Streaming platform, no pay-per-views, subscription. I'm going to support that because they're trying to do something different, which, hold on one second, which I can get down with. Like, I can appreciate that. But they reneged. They started doing pay-per-views. They definitely reneged on what they said they was going to do. And then they keep hitting me with false copyright claims. So I'm done supporting them. I'm done. I wish PBC would come back with Amazon and blow up, but it looks like PBC is dead. They haven't put on none of their own fight cards. They're always fighting for the zone. PBC fighters have become the zone fighters. So I don't know if PBC is going to be around at all because they look to be pretty much toast, finished, done. Now even fights at 4 a.m. are pay-per-view for us. Terrible. Yeah, but the thing about it is the thing I hate is about pay-per-view is America, we get shitted on. We over here, we pay $90+ for a pay-per-view. Over in the UK, it's $20 to $30. I've always said I think America should boycott pay-per-views, period, until they charge the same amount. I don't know why Americans. Is this a troll title? No, Ross Clyde, you can hop on. It's a real title. Canelo sleeps Crawford. It's not even competitive. It is not competitive. Canelo will put him nighty-night. Go ahead, get him the little bottle of NyQuil, get him the nightcap, blanket and a pillow, because he'll go to sleep in that ring. And it'll be very easy. It'll be a very easy night for Canelo. If you want to hop on Ross Clyde, I'll let you hop on. But if not, I'm gonna end the stream here very, 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 very shortly. I don't know if Canelo will sleep, Crawford. They're both bums. Gosh damn. I cannot call either one of them a bum. Like, what? You don't become a two-division undisputed champion as a bum. Wow. That's stupid. Yeah, it was always stupid. But here's the thing about it. I'll argue with people how stupid it was, Ross Clyde. And now people actually see that he struggled against a guy at 154 with 11 fights. That's just the bottom line. There's no getting around that. All right, well, this is the last call. I'm dropping the link one more time to those who disagree with me. I see y'all watching. This is the last call for somebody to hop on the panel. If we don't get nobody on the panel, we are ending this live stream. I think I have sailed the ship off the imaginary flat earth. Like, it has sailed off and fell. There's not much more. All right, can't jump on. All right, that's cool. That's all right, Ross Clyde. But at Target, that's what's up. I don't know if you're buying groceries. I don't know. Better be, isn't it like October? I know it's the end of the year. Let me see. It got rescheduled. The thing about it is the longer this fight goes on without happening, the better it is for Bevel. I just looked it up. October, what day in October? Hold on. I'll tell you. October 12th. So it's coming on October 12th. Let me do this. I said I was going to do it before I got off. Hold on one second. I'll be right back, guys. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 more second, guys. I'm looking for something. Hold on. I'm going to mute my mic. I'll be right back. If Better Beef is 100% and not old, he'll beat the shit out of Bevel. He would have always beat the shit out of Bevel. They delayed the fight because they knew Bevel stood no chance against Better Beef. 0 chances. Better Beef would have walked them down, outboxed them, because I believe Better Beef's IQ is way better than Bevel's. I believe he's a way better technician. Everything that they say about Bevel is fake, false, and not real. Better Beef is better than him in all areas of boxing. But at 39 years old, coming off of now several injuries, I just don't know if he's going to be the same. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. Let's do this. Let's end the stream with me showing off the beard. We gonna end the stream here as soon as I pop on. It seems like nobody else is gonna get on, so it is what it is. This is what I gotta remember. Like, I be supporting too many damn channels, and I don't get no support back. So I think I'm gonna start doing lives on a regular and just grow my own platform. But again, I have been whatchamacallit, building something else. I have been working to make something else way bigger. We're gonna get here, and we just gonna do this. Show off this. We're growing. Not perfect yet, but we just started. So soon we gonna have it. Maybe I'll show my face next time. But on that note, the big man with the big arms and the big chest, I'm signing off. Y'all have a good night. Thank y'all for watching. And that's gonna end this impromptu stream. I'm out.